Hello, friends, and welcome back to another day of Centering for Lent. Today is our 22nd practice, and we have two more Franciscan spiritual practices, and we're going to dive right into them today. Before we jump straight into the practice, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the Franciscan approach to prayer because it's really interesting. They see prayer as a radical act of faith. Radical act. We don't always see or think of prayer as a radical act, but this is why they think of it that way. What they mean is that by simply sitting down in order to communicate with the God of the universe, that requires a certain level of audaciousness to believe that you can connect to this God. Yet it is our personal response to God's very personal approach, that very same God. Prayer does not treat God like some high up president to whom we dutifully pay taxes in order to receive rights and benefits of citizenship or something like that. Practicing prayer also rises above the very real temptation to think that God has so many children that He wouldn't possibly be concerned with us as individuals. So Franciscans understand that it's an audaciously faithful act to believe that we can interact intimately with God, yet we are able to. And in fact, the Franciscans would say that this is at the heart of our lives and of our spiritual lives, is to interact with God. And they understand God as our Father, our Mother, and our Creator. It's not done out of some transactional obligation or a desire to obtain some sort of benefit, maybe now or in the future, but it's about developing, this is good, it's about developing a conscious, loving union with God right now. That is beautiful theology of prayer, if you ask me. It's much richer and wider than what many of us have been taught in our churches, unfortunately. But I digress. Today we're going to reflect on a passage from John 12. And today's practice will also be interactive. So you'll need a piece of paper and a pencil. So I invite you to go and grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, some kind of writing implement, because you'll want space to go ahead and write some things down as we're doing our practice today. So I'll give you a minute to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, you have your pencil and paper. We'll be using it in a moment, but not quite yet, so just keep it there in front of you. Go ahead and find a comfortable place, and by now it's probably a familiar place if you've been walking with us for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And let's begin our centering practice today. Find a restful posture for your body. You may have a few more wiggles and shuffles to get comfortable. Just go ahead and settle in. Make sure your back is nice and straight. This helps tremendously with your breathing. Just go ahead and take some long, slow, deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And just find a steady rhythm that brings peace to you. Feel the calm wash over you as you exhale. Take a moment and invite yourself to embrace God's presence. And just feel the love emanating into the space around you and surrounding you. And remember that this love is available to us at all times. Imagine yourself now in a crowded space, an outdoor space, a courtyard, or maybe out on a porch. There are lots of others around you. What people are here? What smells do you pick up on? Is it day or is it night? What do the surroundings look like? You're standing next to the exterior wall of a building. Is it brick, wood, siding? What's the texture as you place your hand up and lean against it? Suddenly the crowds fall silent as a man enters the middle of the group of people and begins to speak. Whoever believes in me believes not in me, but the one who has sent me. And whoever sees me sees the one who sent me. I have come into the world as light, so that whoever believes in me may not remain in darkness. If anyone hears my words and does not keep them, I do not judge them, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. As you receive these words, where do they settle inside of you? Are they racking around in your brain? Do you feel some of their weight on your shoulders? Have they already settled on your heart? What might this person mean about believing in him? What is he talking about? What kind of message is this? Is it ominous? Is it strange? Is it challenging? Is it comforting? Is it a beautiful thing? What emotion rose to the surface above the others when you heard these words? What might it mean for this man to say that he is the light? Do you sense the light in him? Do you sense that light in you? I now invite you to mind your pen and paper to take a few further moments for reflection and jot down your response to these words. I'll read them again, and as I read them, go ahead and write down your responses to it, and you can consider these questions as well. How do these words change us? How do we now live after hearing words such as these? So go ahead and ponder those two questions as you hear the words read again, and just jot down some thoughts and responses that you might have. Whoever believes in me believes not in me, but in the one who has sent me. And whoever sees me sees the one that has sent me. I have come into the world as light, so that whoever believes in me may not remain in darkness. If anyone hears my words and does not keep them, I do not judge them, for I did not come to this world to judge, but to save the world. Go ahead, friends, and take a few moments now. Just come back to your breathing. Mind your breath and feel the air flowing in and out of your lungs, giving you life. Take a moment and look around you, minding and remembering the space that you are in. And in this present moment, take just these few moments and thank God for this practice today. Friends, thank you for sharing another practice with me today. We're cruising through Franciscan spirituality, and we're also cruising through Lent a little bit here. Easter's just right around the corner in a few weeks, and so tomorrow is Friday, and that means it's our last practice for the week. And again, we remind you that on Saturdays, you're welcome to recycle a practice that's been especially meaningful to you, to go ahead and keep your practice going 6 out of the 7 days a week. And thank you all for joining me today on Centering for Lent. We'll see you tomorrow. Shalom, friends.